Hey there, it's 3 o'clock or 3:02-ish on a Tuesday. We all know what that means. Another riveting episode of Behind Breaking Bond. What is all the introduce yourself?
So, hey, Andy Kahn, Director of Victim Services, Crime Stoppers. I'm kind of glad because I was imagining this Billy Joel moment. We're just going to cut and go right to the news and all that good stuff. So, anyways, I think this is important for anyone out there, just to not accept us. So, I grew up in New York, and we grew up on good humor ice cream. Man, that was awesome. So I went to a grocery store. I guess I'll say Kroger's, because I was like, wow, they're selling good humor ice cream. Cool. That's amazing. I loved it. So I went, man, I grew up on this. So I was like, man, I'm getting hung because it's got its signature cake coating.
All right.
And I opened it up. There was no cake coating. So I was like,
oh, no.
This stinks. So I took pictures of the bar without.
You need to litigate this, and I have an attorney.
Yes.
I happen to know an attorney.
Yes.
Introduce yourself, Emily Toto.
Emily DeToto, criminal defense attorney.
Does he have a case?
Well, I think he does, but I'm more interested to see that did you actually write them?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh.
I did. And much to their credit, they sent me. Look, it's the Good Humor Consumer Engagement Center.
Wow.
Dear Andy Kahn, thank you for content. We're sorry to learn you had this experience. Our company is dedicated to marketing products of only the highest quality and safety, providing superior products. And basically, we're concerned when we hear about a problem. We regret any inconvenience. Please enclose with our sincere appreciation, accept us enclosed. So
they give you?
They gave me a coupon for a free box.
Wow.
Okay, so then they followed.
Let it melt.
So they followed up with another. They wanted more information. I guess maybe they saw I don't know, whatever going.
Is Good Humor stalking you?
Good Humor goes, look up this con fellow.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was going to put you through the ringer. I was going to this was going to be really bad if you didn't respond to it. So I thanked them on social media
for
reaching out.
That's cool.
And then they asked me to send a copy of the barcode, the whatever this was here, whatever the day where I bought it. And
so only just one didn't have.
No, they're 6 in a bar, at least half.
Oh, okay.
Half.
Yeah.
But you ate them.
Yeah, I had to. But I was smart. I took pictures.
Yeah.
Hey,
that was smart, and I kept the box.
Right.
I took pictures and all this, and now I'm waiting on their response. And they asked me questions. Have you been a good humor? Have you used good humor? I said I grew up on it, so I'm hoping this leads to where I can be their good humor.
That would be great.
Right? What do you think?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I could see you as the spokesperson for good humor.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes.
I did that when I was little. I wrote to Tom Landry every single day.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I get a big box of Dallas Cowboy swag.
That's great.
So then I took it to the next level and I wrote to Count Chocula because I love Count Chocula. Got a bunch of Count Chocula swag.
Wow.
Yeah, I appreciate that effort, Andy. That's
what I'm telling people out there. If you don't get what's advertised, they need to know.
Right.
And
obviously they wanted to know. I mean, that was a perfect thing to do.
It was a smart thing to do.
It was.
I blitzed them.
For sure.
They would have been turned into frozen frosty cookies for me.
Yeah, or freeze-dried Skittles.
So,
tell us more about that.
I gave Andy, because he's a candy connoisseur, freeze-dried Skittles. I got them at my son's fundraiser, St. Thomas.
Wow.
I have not, obviously it's unopened, so I don't know how those particular ones taste, but they're really good.
I'm not gonna try one. End up on the.
You do it. No, you do it.
I haven't vetted these yet.
They have some that are tahini flavored as well, and those are.
I think you should eat one and see what happens.
I'll definitely. I've been wanting to. I'm starving.
These things are what happens in movies. You give stuff to people, and then all of a sudden they keel over.
Well, I gave you.
Oh, so
I think there's a blowhard, right?
That's good. This is a good day for snack food. So
I'm telling you.
I want one.
Somebody, took, I don't know, whatever. They sent me a whole box.
That's
100
amazing.
pops
I'm taking
of
several.
Charms below pops. So what's your favorite flavor?
Watermelon.
I can spare one.
Thank you.
He gives you
watermelon.
one
Yeah.
What do you want?
out of like a
Grape,
million. He gives you one.
Strawberry,
Or what?
grape, strawberry, or regular? And there's
What is
still-
regular like?
Regular.
What was with the original blow pie? You don't know your blow
Ooh.
pop history.
I'm
Cherry.
pretty regular. I'll take a regular.
There's one for
You're
welcome
not
back.
regular.
Yes, Raymond is
Everybody
back.
says,
Raymond is back.
welcome back. You might remember him when he had the fingers. Yes. What's the thing from the Adams?
He is a
Family?
professional hand model.
Give you a, what do you want, grape or
Looks
strawberry?
No, Raymond
Yes.
has kind of been with the whole Breaking Bond since the start. And he's been gone for a few months. We miss him and he's back.
We're
And
not going to say where he was.
No.
Because we can
Jail.
leave it to your
It's either
imagination.
two-
it was an unfortunate
You
incarceration.
didn't have enough money for what was needed to get.
I did not have
Yeah.
a PR bond.
Yeah, usually when people go missing for that long, they've turned snitch. So
There you go, right? But no, we're glad to have him back. He looks great. And he's showing off his blow pop.
That's reward. People get rewarded,
Right.
when
Right.
they come on here. So that's,
Hey, let's talk
Whoa.
about last week's Breaking Bond kind of took
Wow.
off.
So last week, we went down, we met with the family at Memorial Park. Because
Nice
I've
folks.
been, and again, this guy was on probation for assault with intent to impede breathing.
mhm.
He had, what did we have? 8 more felonies that he was
Mhm.
charged with, while including sexual assault, kidnapping,
Jeez.
2 more counts of assault with intent to impede breathing, tampering with a witness. That's
Yeah.
kind of a no-no.
Mhm.
So all this while he was on probation, and he gets $100 bond.
Oh wow.
And that was from the now suspended judge of the 228, Frank
Frank
Aguilar, because it basically says per Judge Aguilar.
Uh-huh.
So you had $100 bond for sexual assault, kidnapping, and all. Seven of them.
And what was it like 3 or 4 times, the DA's office files a motion saying,
Four.
hey, Ford,
Right.
his probation needs to be revoked. He had deferred probation, which what that means is if you successfully complete your probation, you don't have a final conviction. Well, but the judge that gives you deferred probation has the right to, if you do mess up, to say, I'm going to sentence you to the maximum
Right,
that
the
you
full
were
range of
facing.
punishment.
So
Right.
what's the
between-
full range of punishment on that?
Well, the difference between probation, straight probation, and deferred adjudication is that if you get a 10-year straight probation, the judge is maxed at 10. Deferred adjudication is the full punishment range. So if you're 2 to 10 or 2 to 20 or 5 to life,
Yeah.
even though you have a 5-year deferred adjudication, the judge can still give you 99 years.
And that could that happen if you just violated the probation?
Yes, well, the state has to file a motion to adjudicate, which
Yeah.
means you get hauled back into court. You have a right to have a hearing on that, not a jury trial.
Right.
And the burden of proof on that type of hearing is not beyond a reasonable doubt, like in regular criminal cases.
Right.
It's a preponderance of the evidence. So all it would really take is for a probation officer to testify and say he was on probation in this court for this offense and he did this.
Yeah.
Case closed.
And they could say never showed up for
Right,
community
yeah.
service or
Dirty.
never- right, didn't do anything.
Right. Yeah.
But
So
what
that's a
happened?
possibility.
So what would motivate a judge seeing this, having everything that we have in front of us?
Mhm.
Why would you just give $100 bond
Well,
for serious?
Right.
right. Well, so that's the thing.
Offense.
If you
Why?
say he was already on deferred, is what you say.
Yes.
So he's entitled to a bond on that because it's not a final conviction.
Right.
Maybe the judge was thinking that there was no way he was going to be able to make the original deferred adjudication bond because I don't know what it was. I'm assuming it was in the several thousands. Maybe he just, I can't speak for him. Obviously.
Sure, of course. But then also, I think the point you're trying to make is that when you look at this person on paper, when you look at the defendant on paper, this is a violent man.
This
Right.
is in a 1 year time
Yes,
span.
right. I mean, this is like,
This-
yeah, this is somebody that, I mean, again, by the court documents, he's out of control and hurting people. Made disturbing threats too.
3 different women.
Yeah.
Really?
3
Great.
different. told one, what was it? He told one woman, your death wishes
Time
today.
to die, BICT.
Oh, it was awful stuff. Yeah, it was.
And bitter and,
Oh, my goodness.
oh no, it gets worse because your bitter toenail off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's pretty, yeah, even.
I have officially heard it all. I've been going down there for 27 years, and you have completely blown
Hey,
my
when
mind.
No one has
Right.
ever told you that
No.
somebody,
No,
Bite your toenail.
Get somebody's
should be-
toenail off.
Oh,
That
my
should be the
goodness.
end of you,
that
period.
Right.
is
On it.
crazy.
So he's out on all these bonds again, and then he gets charged again with 2 more felonies.
Oh,
yeah. So
trying to
even
look
even
him
though
up.
he gets this
The
great
$100.
break,
yeah.
he still messes up.
Well, I mean,
The court asked the judge, who at that time was under criminal charge in
Right.
Galveston County.
right.
So on January 24th, the district attorney's office asked Judge Aguilar to recuse himself
Right. Because,
for obvious conflict.
Right. I mean,
You're a
and-
defendant.
yeah, and not only
Right.
that, there's a similarity in, right? It's kind of, you're accused of a
Right.
domestic violence situation. So at that point, he should hear no cases like that.
well, they're afraid that he would be biased in favor of the accused because he's also accused of.
Right.
Similar.
And okay, and even if he hears cases, you're representing me in that court for domestic violence,
Right.
and then you don't like what I end up with.
Right.
Couldn't we turn around and appeal it based on, hey,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have heard it in the first
Right,
place?
exactly. Yeah. So just at a good, for the public's well-being,
Yeah,
people in that type of situation should just recuse themselves.
right. Because you are basically opening up the door
Right.
for everybody to
Right, and then
appeal.
And
then
yet
we'll have
that
to try
didn't
it all
happen.
over again.
No, it did not happen.
Because he declined.
Well, and then that means we're gonna have to waste the taxpayers'
So
money and try it all over again. if something
Right.
goes wrong.
Yeah, and you're talking about slowing down an already slow process.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I would think it, and again, I'm not casting dispersions, but I would think just on a credibility, just for having respect for the court. that
Right,
You would
yes.
say, you know what? For the betterment of everybody,
Right.
I will recuse myself until my charges are disposed
Yes,
of.
right.
And that way there's not going to be any issues involved. So
Even if, I mean, I don't know the man, but even if he has the ability, and he probably does, to be completely unbiased, look at these things and not consider his own situation, you still can't do it because of the way that looks.
it's perception.
Yeah, but I understand he's innocent unless
Of course.
proven guilty.
Right,
And the DA's office has it at their availability. They can file a motion to recuse, which I know they did.
yes,
And so, I mean, there's mechanisms in place to prevent, bias and things like that. So,
Right.
I mean,
and what ultimately
So
happened?
ultimately happened was that this was brought before the State Judicial Conduct Commission, and the Judicial Conduct Commission voted to suspend him with pay
Mhm.
pending the charges.
Right.
So February 5th, he was actually taken off the bench.
Yeah,
But the only reason was because he was suspended.
And
It
he-
wasn't
and-
on his own.
right, and like you pointed out, he's not convicted of anything,
Right.
so he should continue to get his judicial salary. I mean,
Right.
that's only right that he, gets paid even though he can't be in the court being the judge.
Right.
But I think
Yeah.
for integrity purposes, that was the right thing to do.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
But
and
it would have been nicer, it would have been better if you had taken it upon yourself
right.
to do
Right.
that.
But then,
Well, it was like a month after it all happens, he's forced to. And then
Correct.
things happened during that month, like that case.
Yes.
yeah, I was looking him up. I didn't know but you have all that information there?
What
With the
information?
bonds, with the $100 bonds?
Oh, yeah, we
Oh,
have,
okay,
we,
yeah.
hey, man, we do crackerjack
Yeah, you
research.
do. Yeah, you do.
We never
Sherlock
missed a
Holmes.
beat.
We
Many
I
have
have a
tried.
pen and I take
We-
notes.
Our chicken scratch gets us wherever we go.
That's
why,
right. That's
in case
right.
anyone ever subpoenaed our records.
Right.
You, Nancy,
So-
Grace
so,
was
yeah.
interested in that.
Really?
They picked it up, so it went kind of viral for obvious reasons on that. And I don't blame the families. I mean, they were
Right.
nervous wrecks with this
Yeah.
guy keep coming out. So you had a situation that potentially could have exploded into, like a Charles Bronson death wish type of situation.
Yeah.
So what's
where-
his status now? Is he in
He's in
custody?
jail.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in
he is in jail.
So how? I mean, if he had those bonds.
Because he had picked up 2 other charges
Oh.
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I mean, it continued. He sort of showed that I don't care what you say, I'm going to do what I'm going to do,
Right.
whether or not I'm on bond or not.
Right.
All right, let me ask you this, Miss Defense Attorney. So I've been, kind of putting this out there on social media. And there's this guy, and I'll say his name, it's personal, it's public record, but his actual real name is Rocky.
That's a cool name.
That is a cool name. I have a friend named Rocky. He's
Rocky.
Yeah.
actually a boxer.
I don't know,
from
when you
Houston.
think of Bullwinkle, right?
That would be
Rocky.
a good TV name.
Yeah.
Rocky Wallace reporting. Right?
I like it.
I do.
Not too late.
Oh, it is.
We put that in quotes and things of that. So this guy's got the multiple convictions in 3 different counties. He's also a registered sex offender.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so he
Checking
was,
all those boxes.
Yeah.
yes, it's Galveston, Brazoria, and Harris County.
Mhm.
So he was out on a violating a protective order, in which he violated repeatedly, and how I actually got involved in this several years ago because the victim was at her wit's end. So he was actually on probation at the time
Mhm.
for a felony DWI in Brazoria County. So they finally charged him with and enhanced it to a felony,
Mhm.
violating a protective order. So he'd been locked up since July of 21. And when I tell you this guy has issues, he has issues. I mean, so they finally declared him incompetent.
Oh, wow.
And competent to stand trial.
Stand trial. I mean, he had over 100 plus correspondence from the defendant to the courthouse.
Wow.
He
Wow.
also contacted one of his prior victims in the jail over 100 times on the phone.
Hmm.
That was,
And it's all recorded.
Right.
I saw, I got her phone.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at her phone. So he's declared incompetent. We're thinking fine.
Hmm.
All of a sudden last week, he's magically cured, declared competent to stand trial. And okay, fine.
What was
But-
the time span, do you know?
So from August to April.
That's not very
So he
long.
was actually put in this
Hospital,
mental health
yeah.
place, the
Yeah.
Dunn. Yeah, have you
Right.
ever heard the Dunn Behavioral Center?
No,
So there's
but
things
they have to be
that's-
restored to competency. They can't just
Right. So
be
he's
hospitalized.
restored to
How would you
competency.
prove that?
Well, they get evaluated by an expert and
So you-
whether or not they understand the nature of the charges against them, whether or not they can aid their lawyer in helping.
So that would be like a psychiatrist or a
Yes.
doctor that's making that
Yes.
decision.
I've had clients where I believed were not competent, and I've had them evaluated and they've come back incompetent.
Yeah.
And then they get sent to a facility, and then they have to once they're
Okay, so
competent.
here's where it gets really quirky. So we find out that yesterday they gave him a PR bond
Oh, wow.
What?
for $120,000 on the charge
What was the charge?
violating a protective order. And they took him away from the Dunn Behavioral
science.
and they sent him to this personal care home
Oh, wow.
in this neighborhood,
Yeah.
which I, being who I am,
Mhm.
went there over the weekend because that's what I like to do for fun.
You're a wild and crazy guy.
So I went and checked it out. This
Yeah.
is a home in the middle of a neighborhood with families and children.
Oh, wow.
What was
These
it
are-
like?
It was a middle class,
What's the zip code? I was trying to see it.
77067.
Okay.
Well, so this guy is now there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what precautions can you actually take for him from actually walking out the door?
No.
So he's on an ankle. Okay.
Oh, he's got
on
an
an
ankle.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what's that? My first thought that came to mind, and you did this story a couple of years ago, was what happened to Rosalie Cook. You might remember her
Yeah.
80-year-old grandmother
Yes.
that was stabbed to death in a parking lot of a
Walgreens.
Walgreens
Yeah.
by a guy who was restored to competency.
That's right.
Randy Lewis.
Mhm.
And he
Yeah.
was released to a assisted living facility,
Mhm.
which he walked out of,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
nobody did anything. And then he tried to carjack Rosalie and stab her to death. That was what initially came to my mind was this is a
Waiting to happen.
disaster.
Right.
And you know what? Do I think you're doing him any favors?
Right.
No.
No.
Well, I mean, there's nothing stopping him from, it's not a lockdown facility.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So the
Yeah.
question is what?
Well, there's no halfway house that's really a lockdown
What do you do
facility.
with, what do you do with individuals who basically, now you're saying they're restored,
Right,
but if you can't keep them in jail, right? Because
right.
Right.
It's not
I
a-
don't know.
Right.
And I think another big, we're going to take a look into this. Another thing too that I wonder about, do the people in that neighborhood
Uh-huh.
know? I would want to know,
Right,
right? I mean, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't be there or they're
Right.
doing something wrong, but people that live around that facility, because it is a facility, right?
It's,
They-
it
they
says
have a
it-
right to
it
know
says
that.
It's a 1,600 square foot home.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
Maximum occupancy is 10,
right.
according to
Wow.
it's an approved boarding home.
yeah.
Mhm.
This place, they have 4 of them, and 4 houses down is another
Wow,
facility on the same street.
huh,
Yes.
Are they
How do
all?
I know this? Because I am an investigative journalist.
Apparently you are.
Yeah,
better one than
much better.
Rocky over here. Rocky
Yeah.
Wallace over here.
Forget Rocky Wallace. This is the man.
Yes. Yes, 4 houses down is another
But
one.
okay, but are they all?
I don't know. I don't know who's in there.
Well, apparently you've got more investigating.
I do.
Well, is it a,
Yes.
like a hospital? Because then there's HIPAA
No, it's a
issues.
house.
Okay, well, then you
Here,
can
I'll
do an
show you
open
the
records request, I guess, and find out.
Well,
But
I
I
know
don't know.
because you're HIPAA, right?
Well,
How
no,
you-
that's
Right,
why-
you, yeah.
That's why I asked if it was a hospital.
Now,
If it's
so
not,
by
then-
law, since he is a sex offender required to
Right, he
register,
has
and
to
he hasn't
register there.
registered since he's been in the county jail, he has what, 7 days,
Yeah,
right?
he has to
To
register there.
register this new address.
Right,
He
So
better
the
do
clock is
that.
ticking.
right,
Somebody's gonna be on
Today's
him.
day 2, Rocky.
Stay tuned.
right.
This sounds like a mini series in the making. Am I right?
Yeah, and he's scheduled to appear in court next week.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
So I guess they have to take him.
Shuttle him, I guess.
We pay for that, right?
Right,
Right.
yeah.
How much? How much would we pay for this guy to stay there? He ain't
That's
paying it,
all
right?
news to me.
This is
Now,
pretty good.
okay, who, does the court pay for that? Who would pay for
Well, the
that?
county has to pay. I mean,
Right.
if
County
they're,
meaning
if they're
us,
ordering,
right?
yes, we.
Yeah.
If they're ordering him just as if he was in
Right.
jail,
Right.
we pay for their. you
Exactly,
know-
yeah.
Here's the house.
Oh,
That's
that's
not a bad
nice.
looking house.
That's actually nice.
It
It's,
is.
like I said, it's an old
And
house
very-
in the middle of
That's
a
like a
neighborhood.
Brady Bunch house. It's
Yeah,
very
right.
unassuming.
Very
Yeah.
nondescript. There's no, you
Yeah,
know,
there's no sign that
there's
says
no nothing, you know. it says,
interesting.
you know,
We're
Very
gonna have to
interesting.
Welcome to
A
the
good look
Twilight
into this
Zone.
now. This is
That's
fascinating.
That means
interesting.
real reporting. Mr.
Well, I'll
Wall.
find one,
That
okay?
means real.
I'll find you a real reporter.
That's interesting because in some other jurisdictions, like say for Louisiana, for instance,
Yeah.
they send out postcards to all the
Yes,
neighbors.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
hot off the press and hot off the microphone
Oh.
right there. So we're
You're
just,
buying that.
so I just got an update on Ennis.
Yeah.
They're moving him today to this other location, which I'll have to, which is.
Look at, he's scooping you.
Hackmatic
He's
Way.
scooping you right here.
This is
telling you,
pretty
he
cool.
is.
I get,
How
look
did
at
you
it,
know
They're moving
this?
him
'cause
where?
your former reporter told me.
They're moving him where?
To 11423. What a cool street name, Hackmatak.
Hackmatak.
That's what
This
it
story
says.
just gets more and more interesting.
It does.
Wow.
Hey, stay
So-
tuned. We're gonna stay on this.
Rocky, you're
Rocky's
Rocky,
on it.
you're us.
Rocky's on it. Hey, want to thank you all so much
What
for
do we got
watching. And hey, tonight we looked at this. Keep in mind, there's a law now. How long has it been a law? A couple of years.
It's been since it went into effect December of 21.
It kind of started in the height of the whole
Kind of started
bond
from the
situation.
stuff we were doing. when-
Yes. There's a law now that judges cannot give a PR, personal or cognizance bond for defendants that are charged with violent
With
crimes,
violent crimes, correct.
like aggravated
So-
assault. Last year, Judge Josh Hill kind of circumvented that law by granting a defendant a dollar bond.
You were actually there for that.
I know. We talked about this.
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
What a weird coincidence.
I know,
that you're
right?
back on another.
I know,
It's
right?
kind of scary, right? Well, we found another judge that basically has done the same thing. A career habitual offender. The man's been
Since
in and out of prison,
1994.
his whole life. He allegedly likes to beat women, and he was granted a $1 bond. So be sure to check out.
Actually, for facts, there were two $1 bonds, and here they are right here. So he made the bond.
And he's trying to bribe us.
So always keep a couple bucks.
Hey, right.
You never know.
You never know. You might need it for bond. So
Right.
be sure to tune in to tonight's Breaking Bond. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And hey, be kind to yourself and everyone else. See ya.
This is hilarious.
That is funny.
We're going to try and get him